Hey guys, what is up? My name is Megan. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. And welcome to today's video, which is a discussion on my end of year plans. And in order to do that, I will be answering the tag questions from the end of year book tag, which I have done several times before. I think it's a great way to wrap up the year as a whole and just talk about what needs to be accomplished before the year ends, which is crazy. There's only 3 months left of 2023. I see this every year. It goes by way too quick. So without more jibber jabber on my part, let's hop on in. The first question in this tag just hurts my soul a little bit because it is, do you have any books that you started this year that you still need to finish? And I don't like being in the middle of a million books. So usually I'm like, I don't really have an answer to this because I either finish or I DNF. But this year, I've been reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And when I mean this year, I mean at least, what, like 4 or 5 months? I can't tell you why it's taking me so long because I'm having a really fun time reading this. However, I am not really a epic fantasy reader, and so this is just very intimidating to me. When I get into this, I can read for a significant amount of time. However, I don't read this as quickly as I would a romance or middle grade, and it's just scary and fun at the same time, so it takes some effort for me to pick it up, but when I do, I'm having a blast. But yeah, I still haven't finished it. I suck. I need to finish this before 2023, or I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. So this needs to happen. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I've said this so many times. It's ridiculous. The next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the rest of the year? And for that, I say yes, yes, yes. I am currently listening via audiobook to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and it is like the grandest time. It is the most cozy, atmospheric vibe. It is so such a great transitional book. It has fae, it has whimsy, it has all the cozy vibes. I think there will be a romance in this as well. It's the start of a series. I have the Fairy Loot exclusive edition as well. There's literally mushrooms on the sprayed edges. So could you have a more fall book? The answer is no, you could not. And so I'm having a really fun time, but I'm listening to it very slowly. I'm taking my time because I just think this is going to be such a 5-star read and an all-time favorite. And so I'm just soaking in the greatness that is that book. But yeah, I think it's the greatest autumnal transition, aside maybe from Stalking Jack the Ripper, but that's just because I could have this book tattooed on my heart, you know? But Emily Wilde, it's a great time. The next question is there still a new release that you're anticipating that hasn't come out yet? And usually I could say like a million books for this question because I feel like a lot of good books come out near the end of this year or the year in general. However, this year I haven't been keeping up with releases as much. However, I have like 2 or 3 that I'm very excited for. One is the 6th Percy Jackson book, which is Percy Jackson and the Chalice of Gods. This has technically come out when filming this, however, my copy has not made its way to me, and so I'm still anticipating the arrival of it. I have a lot of future plans for Percy Jackson on my channel. I'm gonna be that annoying being, and I believe it was also announced there will be even more books in the Percy Jackson series, which I'm very hyped about. Similarly, I'm waiting on Heartstopper 5, which I believe comes out in December. Like most people, I am an avid fan and reader of the Heartstopper comics by Alice Oseman, and so as much as I anticipated the show, I am anticipating the 5th book. We love Nick and Charlie in this house. Very hyped. And there is also Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco that is coming out on October 3rd, and I'm very excited about it. I love Kerri Maniscalco. She's one of my favorite authors. This one is Envy's book. I believe it's adult, her first foray into actual adult, and I have the Waterstones exclusive edition that I am anticipating getting in my little paws because it's beautiful. I also want to try to pre-order that Fairy Loot copy because it's breathtaking. So those are like my main three. If I do end up reading The Fourth Wing before Iron Flame, I'm assuming I'm going to be hyped for that one as well. There's good books that come out all the time, but oh, also Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. That also comes out on October 3rd. There's a lot to look forward to, and I am forever grateful for that. Also, let me know what you're anticipating in the comments so that we can hype each other up and I can add more books to my radar. The next question is, what are 3 books that you need to read before the end of the year? I love this question every year. It makes me really realize what books I need to prioritize. One of them, and one of the most heartbreaking things that I can't believe I still haven't read, is Skandar and the Phantom Rider by A.F. Stedman. This is the second book in the Skandar and the Unicorn Thief series. I don't even know what this series is called anymore. The Skandar series. I have a full review of the first book if you haven't heard me speak of this series before. This is a middle grade series that follows a young boy named Skandar who becomes a unicorn rider. He's kind of like the chosen one. He goes to this island to become a unicorn rider. It's a 5-year kind of school program. It's very reminiscent of a lot of my favorite books like Percy Jackson. There's a lot of Harry Potter vibes in this as well. He has an exceptional group of friends. It's a lot of fun. You should watch my review if you haven't. But because of all the health issues and everything else that has come up in my life in the months that have happened after its release, I still haven't been able to finish this book. I'm gonna restart it from page 1, but I need to read this. Another book I mentioned I haven't read and want to read is A Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This I want to read because, again, Iron Flame is coming out in November, and I just feel like this is such an autumnal book. And it's dragon writing, it sounds amazing, angsty, romance, fantasy. It's everything you could want, and if the hype doesn't let me down, I'm gonna be happy I read this book before Iron Flame. So I would like to get this read as soon as humanly possible, because one day I'm gonna get spoiled and I'm gonna hate myself. And the last book is a little bit different, and it is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is a book that is kind of like literary fiction. It follows a main character whose husband died. She began working as the night cleaner in this aquarium, and she forms a bond with an octopus, and we follow both the main character and the octopus's perspectives. And I feel like this is gonna be heartbreakingly beautiful. It's gonna talk about humanity and just everything I love about literary fiction. And I am a very big literary fiction galley in the fall. I like it at all times, but there's just something very comforting about I guess thinking more profoundly about life in a season of change. I feel like fall is a season that brings upon a lot of change in my physical environment as well as my own being. I feel like I transform the most in fall, and so I think this is gonna hit in all the right places, and ideally I would like to read this most likely in November. Obviously the list of books I need to read is far more than 3, but for the sake of this tag, we'll keep it to 3 books. The next question is there any book that you think could like shock you and become one of your favorite books of the year, or your favorite book of the year? And as much as it is a possibility, because I keep my heart open to all books, I think it would be very difficult to dethrone my actual faves, because they have made a place so profound in my heart. I don't have a lot of favorites this year, but I can think of like 3 significant reads that, like, if I am privileged enough to read any book that holds a light to these 3, I am a very fortunate reader, so I won't be upset if none of them do, but I keep my options open. Maybe a book will magically take me by surprise and I will become obsessed with it. We all always love obsessing over books, but I'm not counting on it. And the last question is, have you started making reading plans for 2024? And I have for my middle grade book club, which I just recently launched. We are reading the first book in October. If you want to join me, I will leave the announcement in the cards and description for you guys. So obviously I'm thinking ahead for my book club. There's also certain like types of books I would like to read more of, and so I'm thinking about how I can incorporate all of these things in my content. There's a lot of behind the scenes planning that is happening because I'm getting back into my booktube mojo, and I have been for a little while, so I'm more content planning, and with that comes the idea of what books I could read, but I don't have a concrete TBR of like I need to read those 10 books in 2024 or whatever. It will come closer to the end of the year. So short answer, I do and I don't. So yeah, those are all the questions for the tag. I think it wraps up pretty nicely what I am expecting of myself, what my goals are, how I'm doing. I'm just having a really good time with reading. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, and it comes and goes, my urge to read, and just, you know, it's a whole vibe this year. This year was a big year of change for me, and hopefully next year we read more books, but I can't say that the quality of the books I've been reading was bad. So if you guys want to answer these questions in the comments and let me know how you're planning to end your 2023, feel free to do so. If not, I will see you very soon with another video. Bye guys, happy reading.